Hey everybody, this is Jake with F4 Home Inspections. Today I want to talk about Rocket Mortgage. Is it legit or is it a scam? I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. I used to work for them. I used to do mortgages for a couple years, moved on to do bigger and better things. I'm going to give you my inside and honest review. Um, Rocket Mortgage is a big company. They're an online-based lender based out of Detroit, Michigan. They do have offices in Phoenix. They hired remote as well. I was on the remote team during the pandemic. Something I'll start with is a lot of realtors do not like working with Rocket Mortgage. At least that was my experience at that time. For some reason, there was some issues where deals would fall through. I saw those as well. A lot of the times we'll get the mortgage, work on all the upfront stuff, and then it gets passed around to a bunch of different people on the back end, and it just created a nightmare for realtors during that time. So they didn't really go for it. Sometimes when they would put in a deal, the deal would get rejected because the seller's agent had a bad experience, and that'd pretty much be it for that deal. They'd have to move on to go find something else, as in another home. Um, there are some pros to them. They are relatively quick in getting approvals. However, when we would do it, we'd get on the phone. Within a certain amount of time, we would have to pull credit and things like that. It's rushed. So in a way that can be a pro, in a way that can be a con. Um, they do soft credit pulls. That's great to get kind of an initial idea of what's going on. That means they're not impacting your credit score when they're pulling your credit. Now, if you're going to qualify for a government loan, for example, FHA, VA, they didn't do USDA when I was there. USDA is great for rural areas. To issue approvals and to go through a quick underwriting, you're going to have a solid credit pull. Now, the positive on the credit pull part is you have 45 days to have your credit checked by lenders. The CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, really made that a solid rule to protect consumers so that they had an opportunity to go shop for the best mortgage for them. Personally, I did not like the experience of when we would get the deal for the client, that it would get passed to our processor, and our processor would then deal with it. And a lot of the times, the processor would just frankly mess up everything that we had worked on. They'd go in and something would be wrong, or they'd pass it to the underwriter, and one underwriter would say something was wrong, and another one would say something was right, and it would just delay the process. And that's not fair, especially when you're buying a home. That can be a big issue for a lot of people. It's the biggest investment you're going to make. There are fees. Most of the time, when you get a loan through anybody, you're going to have a fee. All right, you're going to have something called points. Points are basis points. They're 1%. So 1 basis point is 1% of the loan amount. So it's pretty easy to calculate there. So in addition to your down payment, which typically your minimum down for an FHA loan is 3.5%. If you're doing a first-time conventional, it can be as low as 3%. VA is 0. USDA 0. So on and so forth. There's different programs for everything. You're really going to run into that basis point. When I worked for Rocket Mortgage, they wanted us to charge 1.875 basis points in addition to your down payment. And with your down payment and those basis points costs, you're going to have more than just those. You're going to have your appraisal, which can be $500 and up. You're going to have your home inspection, which in California, typical home inspection is about $500, give or take. If you have more, if you have a shop or other dwellings or buildings or whatever on the property, that price can increase. And those are a lot of upfront costs. Your inspections, your pest inspections for VA especially, and your appraisal is most of the time upfront. Unless your agent's going to cover that, which is pretty rare. I have never heard of an agent covering the cost of those. So yeah, you're going to look out for those out-of-pocket expenses. It's not zero down real estate is not anything real when you're working with any lender, for the most part. VA, you do have that 0% down payment. You don't have to come up with the 3, 5, 20% down. However, you still have those inspections and you still have those basis points. Typically, let's say you want a lower rate. For example, the rates are 6%. God, I wish they were 6%. And you want it down to 5.25, then you're going to have to buy down that rate. And buying down that rate is the basis points. You're buying that lower rate from the lender, and that's how that's accomplished there. Um, Listen, the home industry can be overwhelming. Buying a home is overwhelming. Overwhelming. Excuse me. Um, you need to understand all of your options. Online lenders are great for your initial approval, and this is just my opinion. Uh, I feel like if you want to, you're out driving around on a Saturday and you want to go look at a house and you need a quick approval, go with the online guy. Unless you like everything online, by all means, I'm just telling you my experience, how I look at it. I would rather be able to look at somebody and talk to them. Um, it really just depends on everybody's need, right? Now, let's say they're offering the best rate compared to everyone else that you've talked to. Do whatever is best for you, do whatever is best for your family. But at the end of the day, you need to be educated. You need to understand that you have options, and you don't need to be pressured into anything buying a home. Last thing you want to do is give your money for all these inspections and then come to find out when you're about to close your deal, something falls through in underwriting that just shouldn't have happened in the first place, and it should have been caught when the deal first got started. Um, my best advice for you would be go to your credit union, go to your broker. So a broker is, you look at companies like Mortgage One, various other entities like that. Typically, your mom and pop mortgage shops are brokerages. What that is, they shop all these different lenders, find you the best rate, find you the best program that suit your needs. And I've honestly, in my experience, have had really good luck with brokerages. I went over to the broker side after I left Rocket Mortgage, and it was a breath of fresh air. Something else I would recommend is talk to your bank. You have, potentially your car loan through them, your credit card, whatever the case may be. Talk to your bank. Sometimes they have really good promotions going on. Sometimes the basis points don't cost so much, and or it could be they don't charge any. It really just depends on the lender and what they offer. Now, Rocket Mortgage is an upside is they do tend to service their loans that they sell to you. So after they fund the loan, they'll maintain the servicing. Servicing is you make the payment to them. It's pretty easy. Buy here, pay here. Some other lenders, Bank of America, whatever, may sell it to Mr. Cooper. They may sell it to somebody else. So you could be paying one company for 6 months, then surprise, you get a letter, and now you're paying somebody else. So always look into your options. Check it out. As far as my recommendation, I would say, if you're into the online thing, you're not really looking to go into somebody's office all the time. It might work for you in your favor. At the end of the day, just make sure you're always checking out your options. All right. And if you've worked with Rocket Mortgage in the past or an online lender, talk about it. Post it in the comments. Let everyone else know. I'm just here to educate you guys. I don't make any money from any endorsements or any company whatsoever. This is just solely my point of view.